Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are looking at your favorite of mine. We are looking at credit management. Credit management, and in particular, we are looking at task 6. My name is Rob, and we have the fun of focusing on, well, this time we're looking at a wide range of different bits and pieces. What I would say is a pretty grotty area of the course, and it's one of those areas where traditionally we have struggled as a group of AAT students to make proper headway. Anyway, what I want to do is to look at the basics of this practice assessment, then look at the theory bits, then look at the computational bits, and then once we've done all of that, if we're not too exhausted, we are then going to have fun making sure we can do it all. So, straight on with the action. What we have here is bits and pieces of taxation. We also have to look at calculating discounts. We also have to look at aspects of liquidity management, bit of overlap there with your cash and treasury management. And we also have to look at a bit of budgeting, bit of overlap there with MABU. We've got to look at cash receipts, and we've also got to look at a bit of theory on other stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to, in time-honored fashion, we're going to do the easy stuff first, okay? And then we're going to get back to the stuff that maybe requires a little bit more thought. So we'll start with task A. We are looking to claim VAT, bad debt relief, on some unpaid customer invoices. Identify whether each statement below is true or false. Now, this is absolutely narrow, absolutely knowledge-based. Nothing more, nothing less. So, DEF must have already accounted for the VAT and paid it over to HMRC. Well, I think we all know it's true. I hope we know it's true, because it's highly unlikely we can reclaim something we haven't already paid. If we could, that would sound like a pretty good game to me. Secondly, the claim must be made within 3 years of the due date of payments of the debt. The answer is false. Thirdly, DEF must have made a provision for the unpaid debt. Well, I don't know about you, but this sounds ridiculous to me. A provision is something in the accounts internal to the organisation, and this is a claim made externally through HMRC. It sounds nonsense to me. And the debt must have remained unpaid for 6 months after the due date of payment. And that is a straightforward piece of knowledge. Yes, it is true. So, bang, 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 know your stuff, 1 mark each, and we are going to score the marks. I say know your stuff and score them. I think the more pertinent way of saying it is, if you don't know your stuff, you're throwing away some easy marks there, and that is not something you want to do. Okay? Now, what we've got next is that we've got calculations of discounts. Now, my view is that that's going to require a bit of thought and a bit of time. So I'll tell you what, we're going to ignore it and just keep on with the theory bits. Great thing about theory bits is that you're going to get them right or wrong, but at least you're going to do that quickly. C, which one of the following is an important aspect of liquidity management? Having enough assets to meet all obligations on a timely basis. Sounds pretty good to me. What about you? What do you think? Does that sound pretty good? Being able to pay all suppliers and other operational costs as they fall due. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Being profitable enough to settle amounts due when they become payable. Right. Okay, so what is liquidity management? What we're typically doing with liquidity management is short-term management of our cash position, okay? And the fundamental issue here is that we're able to pay our bills on time, because if we don't pay our bills when they fall due, potentially we will fail, okay? So can anyone see a problem with the first comment. Well, it's all very well having assets, but unless they're liquid, unless we can convert them into cash, we can still run out of cash. So I don't think I like that one. Yeah? The second one I quite like. We'll come back to that in a moment. Third one, being profitable enough to settle amounts. Well, this is all about profit. And although there is some link between profit and liquidity, it is certainly not direct. So whenever there is a liquidity question which goes on about profit, or a liquidity option that goes on about profit, we sort of know that it's a load of rubbish. So let's just read the other one to make sure that we're correct. So profitable is the reason why I didn't like it. Being able to pay all suppliers and other operational costs as they fall due. That sounds pretty good to me. I'm happy with that. Okay? But notice, I've gone through them twice. I want to make sure if there's an easy question that my easy answer is correct. And I've just realised that there's one that dropped down the page here. Rescheduling loan repayments to ensure they are non-current liabilities. Well, I don't know about you, but that just sounds like a load of, I can't say the word, it's rude, but a load of rubbish, so we say. Okay? A load of rubbish doesn't make sense. Okay? Right, jaunty, the next bit, this requires some numbers, requires some thinking. I'm not prepared to think until we've done all the easy ones. So let's move on. E, which one of the following is not a type of credit insurance? Well, you either know this or you don't. You may have come across key account insurance, you may have come across catastrophe insurance, you may have come across whole turnover insurance. The one thing that you will not come across is unlimited excess. It doesn't make sense if you think about it. Unlimited excess means that it just doesn't make sense. I can't even explain it. It's just so nonsensical. Okay, right. So, we might as well start with our numbers down here with Tom. Okay, Tom has received a letter from the liquidator of Jerry Limited. The liquidator has indicated that all unsecured creditors of Jerry will receive a dividend of 2.5 pence in the pound. Well, all that means is that they're going to get 2.5 pence for every 100 pence they would otherwise have expected to receive. Okay? So they're not getting much left out of it. Yeah? Okay. So Tom is owed 7,500 by Jerry. Aren't we simply going to say that that's 2.5? Oh, I can't fit that in. Aren't we going to say that that comes to 2.5%? Yeah? So couldn't we simply say 7,500 multiplied by 0.025, 2.5%? Yeah? Is going to be 7,500 multiplied by 0.025. We are going to end up with 187.5. Now, is that our answer? Let's have a read of the question. Calculate the amount that Tom should write off as an irrecoverable debt. Ignore that. Show your answer to the nearest penny. So hold on. That was the debt. This is the amount recovered. I've been a bit of a doofus here, haven't I? We want the other bit. We want the bit that is going to be written off. The difference between what we do receive and what we were expecting. So what's that? 7312.5. All I'm trying to show you is that it's terribly easy to, if you wish, do the correct calculation and get the wrong answer unless you've read carefully what the question is asking you. Okay? So, not too difficult, I hope. All we really needed to understand was that idea over there. Okay? Right. So, let's go back to Jaunty. Jaunty's customers, can you see that? I'll just move that down slightly. Jaunty's customers currently pay 30 days after the month end. He is introducing a 1% discount from month 2 if customers settle the invoice in the same month. It is expected that 80% of customers will take advantage of this. The expected sales revenue per month is blah, blah, blah. Okay. So we want the receipts in month 3. And I don't know about you, but this looks very similar to the sort of issues that we had when we were dealing with Mabu. Yes? And the lead and lag time of cash flow. So let's see if we can do it here on the face. We've got month 1, month 2, and month 3. So it's very much an abbreviated working here. And what we notice is that it's after month 1 and before month 2 that there is a change in the way things happen. Okay? So what are we told? We're told John T's customers currently pay 30 days after the month end. So what we would say is that after month 1, we would expect 30 days, 95 to be paid in month 2. Yes? But that only happens for the first month. And to a certain extent, after seeing that, we didn't actually have to deal with that because it doesn't impact on month 3 at all. But okay, I tend to work through all the numbers and then decide what we need, which maybe is slightly less efficient, but it allows me to better understand the problem. So that was before the event. I just don't need that number. Let's just get rid of it. In fact, I will tidy up just because I've got limited space, but this is the way workings go. So we can focus from month 2 onwards. And if we're focusing on month 2 onwards, what are we told? We're told that he's introducing a 1% discount if people settle the invoice in the same month. So couldn't we say that 80% will be received in the current month? But hold on, we're going to have to take 1% off that. We're going to have to take 1% off that on the simple basis that we've given up the cash discount to get people to pay us early. Yeah? Whereas the balance, the 20%, will be received 1 month later, month plus 1. Something like that? Okay. So let's just have an understanding of how this works by focusing on month 2. Yeah? So we're saying that 80% will be in the current month. Yeah? So 80% of 105 comes to 84,000. But we only receive 99% of that. 83,160. Yes? Is what we get. Yeah? So, of the sales made in month 2, we receive 83,160 in month 2. The balance will be received 1 month later. So 20% will be received 1 month later. 20% of 105 comes to my age, 21. Okay? Right. Then we look at month 3. Month 3, we've got 136 multiplied by 80% gives us 108.8. We take 99% of that because we're giving up 1% in the form of a cash discount. So we end up with 107,712. And I'm sorry, that was in thousands, wasn't it? So according to my calculations, this comes to 128,712. Expected cash receipts in month 3. I have answered the question correctly, haven't I? Okay. Now, I've tried to do this working in a sort of structured manner, but without taking up too much space or time. And you've got to decide how much time and how much space that you wish to use. Okay? But I think we can do this. It's very much like Mabu, and I know a lot of people who are doing credit management also do Mabu. So there you go. It's very much linked to what we did before. So we've looked at almost everything. Let's go back. And what we now want to do is to look at the fun bit. And I left it till last. Always leave the bits that are most tricky till last. Meerkat wishes to offer a 2% discount to its customers for settlement of invoices within 21 days. Meerkat's standard terms are 45 days. Now, based on that, we want, first of all, the simple annual cost of the discount, and then we want the compound annual cost of the discount. Now, to my mind, this is something that requires a little bit of thought and definitely a little bit of technique and method by you. So what I want to do before we go any further is I want to just suggest how we may go about this. Okay? So if we were talking about the simple annual cost, what I do is I use a formula because I know it works. So what I do is I say we've got 1 over 1 minus the discount. Multiplied by 365 over the days saved. You see, the whole point about simple interest, we're looking at a percentage here, is that we're suggesting it's not compounded up from one period to the next. Now, if we were looking at this from the perspective of your numbers, we're going to take 1 over. Well, what was the discount? 2%. So 1 minus the discount gives us 0.98. Yeah? So what we're suggesting is that we either wait for monies, we get the whole 100%, or we get the money earlier, and hence we get only 98%. Okay? And what we want to do is we want to multiply by 365 over the days saved. So the question I have to ask you is this. If we did not offer the discount, how many days would people pay over? If we did not offer the discount, they would pay over 45 days. If we do offer the discount, how many days will they pay over? 21 days. So the days that we have saved by this arrangement will be the difference between the two, or 24. Okay? So to make it easier to see, what have we got here? We've got 1 divided by 0.98. We get something like, keep it in your calculator, 1.2020408, etc. And we multiply this by 15.2, because that return, that 2.04%, will, if you wish, be repeated 15 times a year. Okay? And what we end up with by multiplying these two together is something like, oh, pardon me, just a minor issue on my behalf, sorry. Of course, what we have to do is we have to take 1 away from here, otherwise we end up with a rather foolish result. I'm not concentrating on what I'm doing, it's so exciting. Okay, so minus 1. Okay, so if we take 1 away, I do apologize. There we go, we get 0.0204. Okay, we multiply it by 15.2 and we end up with, we end up with 31.04%. So quite straightforward. I'm hoping you have a formula, you apply the formula, no problem. It all works. Now, what happens if we look at what I would be far more interested in doing, which is looking at the compound annual cost? So instead of multiplying here, what we want to do is to consider the fact that any returns that we generate will compound from period to period. Now, to do this, what we want to do is again use a simple formula. 1 over 1 minus the discount. And then we want to take it to the power 365 over the days saved. And from that we will minus 1. That's almost what I forgot last time. Rather clever. So, what have we got in terms of the numbers in front of us? 1 over, well, this is not going to change. 1 over 0.98. But we want to take that to the power of 365 over, well, we said that the days saved were 24, from which we will take 1. Okay? So, what do we get? We get 35.97%. Yeah? 35.97%. Now, notice I've taken these numbers very carefully here. If I can find the right place. We were told to do it to 2 decimal places, and that is what we've done. What was it? 31.04 and 35.97. Okay? Now, this means that you have to be able to use your calculator properly. And this is what I was more interested in than anything else. We have our formulae, no problem. They work. But how do we go through this? You know, the idiot's guide to doing this, which is the guide that I need. So 1 divided by 0.98 equals. That's where we're going so far. Yes? So you've got your calculator in hand. Make sure you can do that. Then you wanted to take it to the power. Now, the most common button you have there is X to the Y, but you may have the to the power button, or you may X to the spot. Lots of them. You've got to work out which button works for you. I'll give you a few alternatives depending on which calculator you've got. You may see that. You may see that. I think those are the most common if you're looking at Casios at least. Okay. Then the key here is to use brackets, open brackets, 365 divided by 24, oops, close brackets, equals, minus 1 equals. So those are the instructions that we have to push through our calculator. If we put those through, we are going to be sorted, but step by methodical step. That is the key to your success. So, what have we learnt here? Well, I think we've learnt that when we get to this area in credit management, things become a little bit more grotty. We've got, on the one hand, the balance of that theory stuff. And to a certain extent, you need to know that theory stuff because a lot of it is factual knowledge. Some of it is common sense, but mostly factual knowledge. The other thing that we've got here, scattered around, are numbers. From the simple calculations that we had before, down to something that maybe requires a little bit more thought. So, when you're doing these computations, please think that there must be something easier than this. Do all the theory stuff first on the basis that you'll get the theory stuff right or wrong, but you'll do it quickly. Then do the simple computations, and then once you've done the simple computations, then look at the more exciting stuff. Now, the only slight problem here is I hope that this is tidy enough for you. At the end of the day, the only thing that your examiner is interested in is what you put in these boxes here. Okay? So make sure that you're reading the requirement very carefully indeed. If you've done that, you're going to have no real problems dealing with whatever the examiner is going to play with you. Okay. So, we're now more than halfway through our assessment tasks. Remember, what we're trying to do over this 10-week period is to look at a full assessment on every paper for AAT. I'm hoping that you're finding it useful. Remember, doing this sort of thing is not difficult at all if you have practiced. If you you learn the technique first of all and then practice it a number of times, in the assessment, it should be plain sailing. We're looking for a pass, we're looking for a merit, we're looking for a distinction. And you only get that, as I think you probably already know by the time you've got to level 4, you only get that by practice, practice, and more practice. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been useful to you. Next week we have more thrilling stuff. But for now, bye now.